Everybody's here tonight? Great, look at that. It's in my car, no wonder I can't turn it off, okay.
Good afternoon and welcome to this afternoon's meeting of the Fairmont School Board. It is Tuesday, August 28th, and roll call is all present. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. We have minutes from last time to approve,
I so move.
Julie?
Second.
and we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes, and we have a green agenda with a few changes.
I move to approve the August 28th, 2018 school board meeting agenda as presented.
Second.
Oh, go ahead.
Dell?
All those in favor?
Aye.
And the motion passes. And we will begin with celebrations. Principal Kim Niss will talk about Cardinal Night Out.
All right. Thank you very much for allowing me to come and kind of promote this event. I believe this is the 4th year now of holding Cardinal Night. So we love this night. So I just kind of want to tell you about it. Hope people are watching. As a reminder, we did just send a dial or two to our families to remind them of our conferences and our Cardinal Night. So on the Wednesday, always during workshop week, we, like I said, we're in the 4th year here. We have started holding our conferences. And we hold our conferences from 12 to 5 during this time. We did make one change this year. The past 3 years, we have actually scheduled the conferences. And this year, we opened up conferences for parents to schedule during this time. So we did schedule some conferences, but we are doing that with a different team of individuals to hold those. And so all of our parents have an opportunity to pick a time slot and have a conference with a team of teachers from the grade level of their child. So that is new this year. At the 7th and 8th grade level, they will actually be conferencing with their students' huddle teacher, and that's something new to the junior senior high school this year. So that is how we will conduct our 12 to 5 time frame for tomorrow. And then beginning at 5 o'clock is really kind of when we transition more into our Cardinal Night. Andy, or Mr. Trado, and myself will be doing some sessions for our parents from 5 to 6. I will be meeting with the parents in room S212, which we call the Pentagon, and just kind of update parents on our personalized learning journey that we began last year. And then Mr. Trado will be meeting with the 9th grade parents in the media center, and he's going to conduct a 9th grade orientation. So as our students transition from our junior high to our high school, he'll hold that orientation. We have 2 sessions really during that time. So there's a 5 to 5:30 and then a 5:30 to 6. Same information, so they could attend both of those events if they would like. Also from the 5 to 6 time frame, we have our community tailgate and then our activity showcase. Again, we have over 40 options for kids for extracurricular activities, and we love to showcase those during this time. We have 2 student-led clubs, which will have tables at this event, and I also had Shelly Larson from Probation reach out, and she's going to have a teen court table, so to get our kids interested or to let them know the information regarding teen court. From 6 to 7 then, and I should say during the community tailgate as well, the Booster Club provides food that you can purchase during that time, and again, the money then going into the activities, the booster account. From 6 to 7, we have our Fall Pep Fest, where we have all the coaches introduce their fall teams. And then at the end of that event, we actually get the opportunity to introduce our new staff members. And we always love to introduce those folks to the community for the first time. From 7 to 8 then, the 7th and 8th grade will have an orientation in the PAC. And then for the 9 through 12 teachers, they will be in their classrooms, and parents can just go from teacher to teacher, walk through their student schedule, or just even talk to teachers that their children have had in the past. So all of our 9 through 12 teachers will be in their classroom, and you can meet the staff at that time. I will actually be in the Commons from 7 to 8, and really there to have parents let me know just their voice. And so I will be in the Commons from 7 to 8 if they have ideas, if they have suggestions, if they have questions, anything that they would like to share with me or questions to ask, they could do that at that time. And then at the end of the night at 8:05, we do a drawing for a free activity pass for the year that they sign up for during the activity fair. So again, we're in our 4th year of this, and we just always hope to get more and more people. And I always like to stress too that especially the Cardinal night, the tailgate, the activity showcase, the Fall Pep Fest, that is open to the entire community. And again, we love to show off our kids and what we have to the community, and we would love for them to come and join us. So, and they could even do the open house too and walk through the school, because the school has changed in the last couple of years. So just even to walk through and see the school, again, open to the community. So.
Kim, could you just go over how the conferences work?
Yeah.
So that for our parents?
Yes, yep. So with conferences this year, I'll talk 9 through 12 first. 9 through 12, we did send a Sign Up Genius link that they would just click on the link, and then they just sign up for a time slot. So if I have a 10th grade student, I would look for the time slot specific to the 10th graders. We can hold 2 10th grade student conferences during a time frame. Because we'll have 2 teams of teachers. And really what we're looking for here is for parents to let us know what we should know about their child going into the year. Because again, we can see a lot of data on paper, but we would like families to let us know, it's kind of what Kelly Holstein said today, their heart, what's in their heart, and what do they enjoy, and what do they like, and what should we know about them prior to coming into school. So really a chance for the parents to come and let us know about their child and what they would like for us to know. And so that whole setup is through Sign Up Genius. So that you have to click on the link. If you can't get it to work, we're just encouraging our parents, call the school. We'll sign you up. All the ASAs have access to that, and they can sign up the families during that time, or for a time. And then our 7th and 8th, they're signing up actually through Skyward. And so we're implementing, again, what's new this year, it's called Huddle. And the 7th and 8th graders will stay with their Huddle teacher at the end of the day. So whatever they have 7th hour, that becomes their Huddle teacher. And so they're signing up conferences with their Huddle teacher, who will then give all that information to the rest of the team. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense, Rufus?
Yeah.
Because it is new this year, so we hope we're being clear in our communication with what they need to do and how that works.
And so the Huddle teacher going forward, will that be like the Cardinal Connections person?
It's kind of a combination of Cardinal Connections and the advisory time that we've had.
Okay.
So at the 7th and 8th grade level, they're actually during that Huddle time during the day are going to do on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday silent sustained reading, along with being coached by their Huddle teacher. And then on Fridays, they'll do, it's called the Second Steps curriculum, which really gets into kind of the social emotional aspects. It's a curriculum for that. It teaches kids about empathy and being kind and some of those pieces.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, so that's what.
Any other questions?
Yeah, are the event schedules posted?
We don't have these. We all the parents received one of these flyers, but now that you say that, Del, they are not in the community. But all
Okay.
of our parents received this at registration time and also in the links that we've sent through the dialers.
And it would be online then if
Yeah.
someone wants to
Yep.
find some of these things?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, yeah, we just
Okay.
encourage everybody to come, and it looks like no rain for tomorrow night, so that's a positive. So,
Okay.
That's
Thank-
bold
Thanks,
talk
Kim.
for
yeah,
this year.
yeah,
For
yeah.
this year.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Joe Brown, Superintendent.
Just a few items. Number one, Rufus and I, we both experienced today the Kelly Holstein speech that she gave to our faculty and support staff. And as you may know, Kelly is the Minnesota Teacher of the Year this year, teaches in an area learning center in Shakopee, and she graduated from Fairmont High School 26 years ago in 1992. And this was her first time back to the school. And it was just a really emotional, very, very hard-hitting message that she gave. And when I say hard-hitting, I mean, I think it sunk into everybody's heart. She gave just an outstanding speech, and I can see why she was nominated and became Teacher of the Year in Minnesota. I did clarify, though, I did ask her, I was under the impression that Minnesota Teachers of the Year receive the whole year off, and they don't. They're still expected to teach full-time. She gets days off, of course, to go out and give speeches, and because I've been contacted by other superintendents wondering, how did you get the Minnesota Teacher of the Year? Because she's booked. And I said, well, as soon as we found out she earned that award, we contacted her and we invited her back to her home school, and she accepted. But she gave a very, very strong message, and it just goes to show how important every single human being is, whether you're a faculty or support staff or a student or parent or community member. All of us are important. And if we would just treat each other with a little more kindness and be a little more empathetic and a little more patient, we'd have a better society. And, you know, I was just totally impressed. I had the opportunity today, too, with our new paras coming over to our contract. I met with all of the elementary paras today at 12 o'clock, and I met with all of the high school paras today at 1 o'clock to go over the contract and go over the expectations that we have of all of our 50 paraprofessionals. And that went very well. The coordinators did a nice job, and I think everybody appreciates. I really stress the importance of we want our paras to be here every day. We don't want them to be taking time off. We don't want them to be taking pay deducts. In fact, somebody asked me about that. I said, we don't do pay deducts anymore. You know, our expectation is that you're here every day. If you're sick, obviously, you have an emergency, you can use one of your 10 paid time off days. But I think that message was pretty clear that we expect them to be here. We also gave them all activity badges or access cards that paras now have access to both buildings. And so they can come into any building at 7 in the morning, and they can come in and out till 5 o'clock at night. And that's important because sometimes when a special education paraprofessional is working with a special ed student, we have a few kids that we call runners that they sometimes will take off, and they'll actually take off and run outside of the building. And the paras in the past would go out and capture them or catch them, and
not
then
be able to get
they
back.
couldn't get back in the building. They have to go all the way around the front of the building. And that's okay in September, but in February, not a good idea. So they very much appreciated the fact that we're treating them like everybody else on our staff, and I think it's going to be a very smooth transition. Then we also had active shooter training today at both the high school and the elementary, and that went very well. I stayed for the high school and observed that, and boy, that was pretty realistic. That was really realistic. Even Chief Hunter was, you know, he showed up. There were 4 officers that were involved in that active shooter training. 3 were from the local police department, and 1 was from the sheriff's department. But I know in one of the episodes, they pretended like there was an active shooter in the building, and everybody ran to the nearest room and shut the door and barricaded the door. And then I saw Chief Hunter going up and going, "Hey, let me in. I was in the bathroom. Hey, let me in. I was in the bathroom." And of course, they never let him in because they were told, "Don't let anybody in. Once the door shuts, it's shut." And so that was kind of an emotional day so far.
So what do you do if you're in the bathroom?
I would say
Become that runner he
I would-
spoke about
I would say
earlier.
stay put or get out. Stay put or get out of the way. And let's hope we don't have to deal with that situation. But it's the same reason we insulate our homes here in Minnesota. You do it to save money, and we do this training to hopefully save anybody from getting hurt if there is somebody who tries to hurt our staff or our students. So. And enrollment numbers, don't have any enrollment numbers tonight. We're still enrolling students at the elementary and the high school, so I think it will still take, by the time we meet again in 2 weeks, we'll have up-to-date numbers.
Do you have any idea of what our numbers are looking like? Do you have any preliminary numbers?
Well, I know I've talked to the guidance counselors of the high school. We have a number of new students that are coming in. I talked to Mary Grandheim. We don't have that many people leaving. At the elementary, we're a little stronger in the kindergarten than we thought we were going to be.
Good.
We're way over 100. Not a huge amount, but 105, 110.
Okay.
At one time, we looked like we were down to 80, but they did show up. Jessica Martinez has done a great job of going out and working with the new to country families that have. She went out and got them to come and come to the registration, and they've registered students that some have not been with us before. So that position looks like it's paying off. And my gut feeling is that we're probably going to start the year stronger than we budgeted. But as you know, we always want to, we always budget conservatively. The other thing I'll point out is that auditors are on site today and tomorrow. We have 4 auditors in my conference room at the district office, and they're working with our business manager and working with our district office staff to do the audit. And they'll be here all day tomorrow, and then they'll be back over the next month. They'll be communicating back and forth to get additional information. But so far, the audit looks very good. We did get our special education bill the other day, and we had anticipated that might be increased by about $250,000, and in fact, it went down $36,000. So that's a nice turnaround of money that we thought we were going to have to spend, and we actually are going to spend less. So budgetarily, we look like we're in pretty good shape. We have a couple more hires that we'll do tonight because of some situations to take care of our staff. But budgetarily, I think we're going to end up the year, we should end up with a very strong year.
You have a new button.
I have a new button, and we have extra ones for the board. I'll make sure you all get one. But this has to do with a speech that I saw a few weeks ago at the superintendent's conference. Dr. Sandra Kampoff from Minnesota State University, Mankato. She has a book out, and she talked about, all the things that people worry about. We have a lot of stresses in our life. We have a lot of concerns. And she says, folks, here's the deal. You only really have control over 3 things. You have control over your attitude. You have control over how well prepared you are, your preparation, and you have control over your effort. And so the button this year, we always kind of come up with a theme, and our button is Go Ape with Fairmont Area Schools, attitude, preparation, and effort. And that is not just for our faculty and support staff. We really want to have everybody in the school talk to our students about that. Our students show up and they're excited about being in class, and they're well prepared. They've actually read the assignment or have done the homework, and they put forth great effort. Guess what? They have really good results. They really do. And so that's what we want to encourage students. Come in with a good attitude, do your work, do some homework, read a little bit, do your math, do some science, and put forth really good effort, because you're only in school 7 hours a day for 174 days. And then looking ahead at the schedule, by the way, day after Labor Day is when the high school grades 7 through 12 are in classes. And in the first 2 days of school, September 4 and 5th, the kindergarten through 6th grade students will be doing back-to-school parent-teacher conferences. And we find that those are very important for teachers to get to know the students and and parents to get to know the teacher. But high school students, get ready. And then, of course, Thursday night of this week, for those of us that have nothing else to do, we want to go east to go to the Blue Earth Fairmont High School football game. And Blue Earth is gracious to host us this year, and we're going to be gracious to hopefully bring back the brown jug. Okay.
Okay,
Thank
thank you,
you.
sir. Financial business? Julie?
Well, you have in your packet, you should have the transfer wires for August 10th to the 23rd. There isn't anything really special I want to bring to your attention on that. You have the bills in front of you. Something I just want to bring attention to is, the first one is from Commerce Bank, the INS Group. This is listed as a PAC remodel, planning, part of the process. And we're just right in the design process of that. This project is going to be taking place, hopefully through summer of 2018, so, next summer.
19.
Oh, you're right, that would be 19.
Yeah.
Yes, time flies.
It does.
Yeah, but it would start in the, 18, 19 school year, but anyway. To take over 3 to 4 months to do that, and that would include the seating and lighting in the PAC. The next one is Music Theater International, and that is, just want to bring your attention to, there's a couple other things on here from other invoices, but the main one, the $400 will be the Annie, musical Annie will be performed this year for our theater group. and that'll be taking place, I have the dates of November 7th to the 10th. So just to have to kind of, if you need to pencil that date in, if you want to see Annie, I think that'll be just a great show. But that's what they're planning to present this year, and so it's really kind of fun to be thinking about that. Then on the Chanhassen Dinner Theater, this is kind of interesting, as last spring, the the choir trip was going to be going to, is what I understand, they were going to go to the, what was it? Newsies, they were going to see. Because of snow and weather and that, it was canceled, so now they are going to it this fall. And so that was just a remaining balance that needed to be, but they'll be going to that. I'm not sure of the date, maybe September 15th, the way it looks, so. Okay, and the last one is DeWar Electric. That's check number 61,574. This is the LED lighting project at the junior senior high school. And I just kind of questioned that, because I thought we've been paying this quite, a few times through the year. We're about 95% ready, completed on that. So we're just about done with that. We'll be all paid up. And then I think tomorrow is the walkthrough. If it's not tomorrow, it's later this week. But anyway, they'll walk through and see what our rebates will be for that. So that'll be kind of exciting to see how much our earnings will be, or savings will be, from the installation of those lights. So that'll be wonderful. And I think that's it on there. Do you have any questions or anything?
I have a question for Mrs. Niss as it relates to lighting. Have you noticed that the stairways going up to the second floor are not lit? I was there yesterday and today, and I talked to Tyler today too. He's going to check that out, because I know they're putting the final touches on the wiring at the high school, and we think, but if you notice, we want to make sure that gets fixed before school begins, because those stairways are pretty dark. It's the stairwells that go up to the science hallway, and the one nearest the commons. Because there's no separate light switch in there, is there? I think that when the hallway lights are turned on, those are supposed to come on. And there's lights in there, but I noticed that they're just not on.
Maybe
Okay.
something's just not connected.
Yeah, that's why we're doing the walkthrough, I think.
Yeah.
Okay,
I bet you'll walk through every one of those stairwells.
yes,
I hope.
yes.
Now they will.
Yeah.
If we didn't
Yes.
before, now they will. Okay, and so because of that, then I will make a motion to approve the wire transfers for August 10th, 2018 to August 23rd, 2018, and payment of the August 28th, 2018 bills.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Julie. No old business, new business, policies. Nicole, you up to this?
Yes.
Very good, thank you.
We met and went through a few policies that you have referenced in your packet. A couple of notes. Policy 602, it's about organization of school calendar and school days. And in that policy, it states that we may put into our calendar online instruction if needed. So far with our district, we've been very conscientious about making sure that we have plenty of time in our calendar in accordance with state requirements, with hours, which is how the state tracks our attendance and our time in school. And so since we've been very conscientious about that, we've never been close to, or at least not recently, to having to make up for those snow days. But in the future, if we ever were to come to that point, the state has said that we are now allowed, and we can have a plan to have online learning in place of those days, as opposed to making them up physically in the classroom. And if you look at policy 603, curriculum development, I have a special note on there. It says that wherever possible, with regards to curriculum development, parents and other community residents shall comprise at least 2/3 of advisory committee members with regards to curriculum development. And so we are going to really be trying to implement that, to make sure that our parents and community members' voices are heard. Our parents hear from their kids about what they're learning. They know what their kids really want to learn what they need to learn and where we might improve or where we're doing really well. And so it's important to hear those parents and those community members. And so if you get a call, parent or community member in the future, please know that we really do want to hear from you and would very much appreciate people serving on these committees. And those policies, the 601 was school curriculum and instruction goals. I already went over 602, 603, policy 803, security access policy, and 804, security camera policy. They're all in your packet. Any changes are highlighted, and those are mostly changes that are recommended by the School Board Association and in accordance with current state law. So I move to approve those policies as presented in appendices A through F.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then the last policy, 617. The state, or we're recommending deleting it because this profiles of learning no longer exists in Minnesota law, so we don't even need this policy. It's not necessary. So I move to remove policy 617 from our policies.
Second.
Dan?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you,
Okay.
Nicole.
Yeah.
And new business, Danielle, truth and taxation.
Yes, we are recommending that this year's Truth and Taxation hearing be held on Tuesday, December 11th, following the school board meeting. By law, the hearing cannot begin until after 6 p.m. So I make a motion to approve holding the Truth and Taxation hearing on December 11th after 6 p.m.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Danielle. Personnel, Julie?
Yes. We have a teacher who needed to receive some medical care, and because of that, we needed to adjust a schedule with that. And so we are going to be placing Cindy Johnson on a semester of a teacher on a special assignment. And as a teacher on a special assignment, she'll be assigned a variety of different responsibilities that can be completed at school or at home. So then we will have Jonas Nissen take over those classes that she would have taught, and then we will have to have a sub for Jonas's classes then. So I would make a motion to approve assigning Cindy Johnson to serve as a teacher on a special assignment, otherwise known as TOSA or TOSA, for the first semester of the 2018-19 school year.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Julie. And employment, Dal?
Principal Niss has recommended that Melissa Lumen be hired as a long-term substitute English teacher for the first semester of the school, effective August 27th, 2018. Melissa is a graduate of Grand Canyon University in Phoenix, Arizona. She holds a BA in English and Language Arts. She has experience teaching high school English, and that would be like 2.5 years of teaching at the Grenada Huntley East Chain School District. So having that in mind, I would move to approve the employment of Melissa Lumen as a long-term substitute teacher for the first semester at a salary of BA Step 1.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next, we have Principal Davison is recommending that Marcia Ghosh be hired to work 2 hours each day as a noon hour aide. Marcia is assuming the noon hour position that was held by Terry Bear before she retired. Going off of Mr. Davison's recommendation, I would move to approve the employment of Marcia Ghosh as a noon aide at the salary step of 4 in the industrial salary schedule.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And one more?
And then finally, Principal Davison is also recommending that Jennifer Strite be employed as the instructional Title I aide. Jennifer will be working 5 hours a day, Monday through Thursday. going off of his recommendation, I would move that we approve the employment of Jennifer Strite as an instructor, Title I aide, effective September 6, 2018, at a salary step 1.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Dal.
And I would like to say, Marcia, if I butchered your name, I apologize.
Actually, Del, you got it. I think you got it.
Okay, well,
Okay, we have a retirement, Julie.
Yes, Sue Nelson, our business manager, has tendered her letter of retirement effective September 28, 2018. Sue has been employed with the district for 32 years and has served as the business manager for the past 16 years. And I wish her the best with her retirement, and I will miss working with her. I have worked with her for most years as the treasurer here of the school board, so I will miss that. So I make a motion to approve the retirement of Sue Nelson, business manager, effective September 28th, 2018.
Second.
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
I'd have to echo that. I think we're all going to miss Sue. She's been
The district will
a
miss.
tremendous asset to the district, kept us honest and in good health financially.
And-
She runs a sharp pencil.
And in the black. Yes, no, she's 32 years plus in one district is incredible. And I know that, MASBO is the organization that our business managers belong to professionally, and she's highly regarded among her colleagues all across the state as one of the better business managers in the state of Minnesota. And we want to publicly thank her for her service to our district and our community, because she's been a delight to work with, and she's my next door neighbor in the office. And anytime I get called into her office, it's like reminds me of my high school days, getting called back into the principal's office. But
Happened a lot?
it happened. Let me just say, if I would have received frequent flyer miles, I wouldn't have had to pay for an airplane ticket. Anyway.
Blessings and congratulations to Sue.
Yeah. I think we need to vote on that.
Yeah, we did. We
You
did.
could have voted no. Okay, all right.
No, I believe that she
She's ready.
has deserved it, and
Yes.
Okay, we'll move to board committee reports. Policy committee, I think we discussed
Yep.
most of that.
The only one I think that we didn't go over tonight in our regular part of the meeting was policy 625, which is unique to our district. It's the FIED waiver, or the fitness and wellness waiver for 11th and 12th grade students, and we no longer have Fit and Well as a required course. So there's question as to whether this policy is necessary or not, and I believe it is going to be or has been discussed with the PE department, and we will take further action on that if we need to at a later date.
Okay, thank you. And operations, Dan?
Operations Committee met a week ago on the 21st of August. We had 3 items on the agenda. First was the rental agreement with our Hunt Farm. Chris Carlson is currently renting the Hunt Farm that is owned by Fairmont Area Schools, the land near exit 99 out by the interstate there. This past year, Chris paid $267 an acre rent. Due to declining commodity prices and increased production cost, Chris requested to lease the Hunt Farm next growing season at a reduced rate of $257 an acre, which the Operations Committee approved. Second up, Superintendent Brown briefed us on plans to apply for a $500,000 school security grant from the Minnesota Department of Education. This past legislative session, the legislature appropriated $25 million for school safety grants, $12.5 million, which is designated for metro area schools, and the remaining $12.5 million designated for greater Minnesota schools such as ours. And the date to submit that grant is tomorrow, I believe, right, Joe?
Yes,
8 a.m.?
right away.
Got it all ready to get in there. First come, first serve, from what I understand.
Well, it's here's the way, they said it, you don't have to stay up till 12:01, but any application that's sent in and date stamped on August 29th is electronically submission. And so we'll submit that tomorrow morning. It's not necessarily first come, first serve, but they're going to divide all the stacks into 2 stacks, Metro versus Greater Minnesota. And then they're going to read through them, and the ones that apply and meet the criteria that the state has set will be first come, first serve, if you will, in that stack. So it doesn't matter when, it has to be sent tomorrow, and it will be sent in the morning. But it'll be interesting to see. The top priority for this grant is for entrance security. And that's why we were applying for this at the high school. And I did some research, by the way. Lenny Tweeten is a longtime teacher of ours, and boy, is he a historian.
He is.
I contacted Lenny a week ago to get more information about the fire that happened here in Fairmont in December of 1969. Now, I've asked a series of people this question: which building burnt down that day? I'm asking you folks.
It was the junior high school where Veterans Park is now.
That is correct. 9 times out of 10, the people say, no, the high school burnt down. No, the high school didn't burn down, because Five Lakes Elementary was the high school at that time. The middle school burnt down, and we had an insurance policy on that building to replace it for $1,300,000. And the insurance company refused to pay because they felt the building could have been rehabbed. And so our school board filed a lawsuit against the insurance company. The bill, the legal bill for that was over $200,000, of which the insurance company was ordered to pay and pay the full amount. And so the school board, kind of like the window settlement we did recently, but they actually went to court. The court case was held in Minneapolis, and the jury, it was a jury trial, the jury actually came down to visit and did a site visit of the remnants of the building.
really?
Yeah, and so Lenny sent me about 40 pages of photos and letters, or newspaper articles from the Sentinel, talking about that fire. And it was a 13-year-old arsonist who set fire to the building. And the Sentinel asked him, why did you set fire to the building? His answer was, he wanted to go to a new school. Okay? And so anyway, the punchline is the high school was built, but here's the rest of the story. When the voters were asked to vote for the bond to build the high school, they voted it down twice. It was on the third time that they tried to build the high school. That's when it passed the community, but they kept scaling it down. That's one reason why the high school, very few high schools in the state have hallways that are concrete floors and not covered with either linoleum or concrete. But that was one of the things that they took out of the building, was not to have either linoleum or carpet in the hallways. So they ended up with a building that's still been very good building. Except when it rains. We had a lot of water yesterday inside the hallway again, and it's not coming through the windows. It's coming through the brick, we think. Anyway, but punchline is we think we have a pretty good shot at that, and we worked with, the high school did a wonderful job of doing some research. They actually have kind of a scaled blueprint of what the new office might look like. It would actually come out on the sidewalk of the high school, and people would have to enter the high school office first before they entered into the rest of the building. And Mr. Trado did a survey of 43 high schools in the region, and 40 of them have secured entrances. Only 3 of us don't. And so because that's a top priority that the state's looking for, I think we have a fairly good shot at possibly getting that. If we do, the total cost of the new facility is $1.2 million, and the rest of that money would come from an old capital fund balance that we still have, plus a few $100,000 of our fund balance. The state is supposed to rule on this and actually to make a decision by late September. So it's only about a 1-month turn that we'll know in September. And if we are approved, then we'll put final touches on the plan, go out for bid sometime in the spring, and then start construction during the summer of 2019 when we're doing the Performing Arts Center. And what else are we doing? That's it, isn't it?
Well, it was the seating and the lighting.
Right,
and-
yeah, the Performing Arts Center, yep. Well, very good.
Okay.
So obviously that $500,000 grant is pretty key, so we'll keep our fingers crossed that we get that. And the scaling down, by the way, Joe, when people ask why there aren't many windows in the Fairmont High School building, that's the reason why, for cost. It's not because it was going to be a prison. I've heard people say that before.
Well, and remember too, and some people think it was because of energy conservation, but remember, the energy crisis didn't hit until 76, 77, and the building actually opened in the fall of 72. And so the building's been a good building, but, you know, and thank goodness our students and our staff and our custodial staff. I got to tell you, that's the other thing too. You know you're getting close to the start of the school year when they start waxing the hallways. And at the elementary school, there's one more little section of hallway that they're waxing tonight, and then we're done. But I want to do a public thank you for the buildings and ground staff. They just do a marvelous job in the summertime, going through every single building, doing an absolute deep clean of every single corner of the building. We had contract painters in this summer to paint hallways and classrooms. And thank goodness we have such a wonderful student body, because our student body, unlike many schools across the country, our students really respect our nice facilities. And you don't see graffiti, you don't see broken things. I walked through the hallways today, and there's even some new furniture in the hallway in the high school, which is a surprise to me. Mrs. Ness. Okay.
You knew it was coming.
Actually, I didn't, but it didn't surprise me, I said. Okay.
We had one more major item
sorry.
on our Operations Committee agenda from last Tuesday, and that was the lease levy, possible use for Fairmont Community Center. Currently, our school district may generate $392,000 in lease levy revenue per year. At this point, $290,000 of that is committed toward paying for the rehabilitation of Lincoln School for use by Southern Plains Education Cooperative, which would leave about $102,000 available for another project. Superintendent Brown contacted Stacy Childers of Springstead to verify that the remaining $102,000 of the lease levy could be used to lease part of the Fairmont Community Center. So did we have any word back from them?
Yes, we did get confirmation that it could be used to lease levy for a swimming pool. It can only be used to lease levy for something that we currently do not have on our campus. And because we don't have either a swimming pool or a hockey rink on our campus that's owned by us, we could use that $102,000. We could appropriate that. But here's an interesting point, Dan. I don't know how quick the community center committee is moving, but as Danielle mentioned tonight, we have our Truth and Taxation hearing on December 11th. Well, in order to levy for that $100,000, that has to be decided probably in the next 2 months, because that needs to get into our levy sheet so we can make it official on December 11th. If not, then we have to wait a full another year. And I've not heard whether the community center is moving in the next 8 weeks or if they're going to wait another year or two. But that's the amount of money we have available that could be used. Okay? Thank you.
That was our Operations Committee meeting.
Dan,
Okay.
if I could,
Certainly.
the Hunt Farm, is that negotiated annually, or is that a?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Any other questions?
I,
Comments?
I don't have any questions about that, but I did have a Southern Plains Board meeting last night that's not on there.
Please share.
If you want to listen a
Of
little
course.
bit longer for that. And I really don't have a lot. It was mainly just the organizational meeting. We did have some hirings, we did have some resignations. We had some policy changes and that. We worked on some work agreements and that. But like I said, most of it is just the normal, organization stuff. But the one thing I did want to share with you, and if you're interested, this is the kind of the plan for the Lincoln School building. And another report from our construction company in that they did make some changes in here, and I'll let you all look at it if you'd like. And it was just changing a couple of rooms around so that because of some classrooms cannot be with an exterior door because it was a daycare center, and they put, and then when Lincoln School was, prior, and that was the daycare, they had put some additional exterior doors on. So they're changed some of the plans around, and so now we can have those things and not have to do a lot of work with that. But I'll let you know, it's both levels of the building. But that's really all I had to tell you about that, but I did want to make sure that if anybody wanted to see that tonight, they could look at it. And otherwise, I think it's pretty well ready to go, so.
Julie, was that Kraus Anderson that was representing?
Well, they didn't present,
Okay.
Sarah just brought it down and presented it to us, so
Okay.
they weren't there at the meeting last night, but yeah, that's where it came from.
And how soon will they start rehab? Soon?
Soon,
Good.
yeah. We're
When it
working-
stops raining.
Well, I suppose, yeah. You know, I hope soon. I hope we don't have as wet a fall as we had spring, so.
Okay, anything else?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
Time is it? 6:40, or 5:40? Remember, we have Soupy.